If there's been a sneaker release in 2025 that you've missed out on, there's a good chance it's on this list. These are 10 of the best deals for 2025 sneaker releases that are available on StockX right now. Of course, if you want to grab any of these pretty solid deals, I've made sure to link them through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. But let's dive in, starting things off with an honorable mention. The Air Jordan 1 Shattered Backboard 2025. I know I've been giving this shoe a lot of crap because it's not as good as the original, but it's still a solid looking shoe and the colorway is still fire. The materials, they're fine, they got the job done, but it's not the same. But hey, a lot of us weren't able to grab that shoe when it released, so this is the next best thing, and it's still a great shoe. But you might be saying to yourself, this shoe hasn't even dropped yet. Why is it on the list? Well, the good news is if you want a pair of these, the resale price right now is like $220 for a $180 pair of shoes. And at the time of recording this video, this shoe doesn't drop for like another month, which usually is a good indicator of the resale price of the shoe dropping as we get closer to release and hopefully being under retail when it releases. Now, of course, we're not gonna know what the actual resale price is gonna land at after the shoe releases. A lot of times when a shoe sells out, people get FOMO and the resale price actually is higher than it was before it released. For example, the Air Jordan 5 Metallic Reimagined, that shoe I think I picked up for like $300 before it dropped, and then after it dropped, it went up to like $400 now. It's crazy. I do think there might be a chance for that to happen with this shoe, but I don't think it's that likely. I mean, look at what happened with the UNC Air Jordan 1 Reimagined. They're selling for way below retail. We'll talk about them later on the list, not to ruin things for you guys. But that being said, this shoe right now, for the resale price of $220, at least in a size 9, is pretty solid for a shoe that doesn't drop for a month. Oh, and I should mention, Apothecary, my sock brand, did just drop new socks that perfectly match this shoe and some of the other shoes on the list. So if you guys want to check that out, they'll actually be tagged on the YouTube shopping tab as well and through the link in the description below. Hey, if you're searching for any sold out Apothecary styles, Apothecary is actually available on StockX, so make sure to check it out over there. Number 10, the Air Jordan 3 Pure Money. This 2025 release is actually only the second time that this shoe has dropped. We first got it in 2007, and now almost 2 decades later, we're finally getting it back. Now, if you're familiar with the Pure Money theming of Air Jordan sneakers, they tend to be all white with some silver accents. The most notable pair being the Pure Money 4s, and now we've got the 3s, or I guess we've had the 3s, but now we get them back. And just like the original, the shoe comes with the white leather upper and sort of a white, or I guess very light gray elephant print on the toe and on the heel. In line with the Pure Money branding, you've got silver accents on the lace eyelets of the shoe, and overall, it is a perfect Air Jordan 3 for summer. Is it the most sought after release of the month? No, but it's still a really solid Air Jordan 3, and it retailed at $205 and dropped like 2 weeks ago. And now, 2 weeks after release, it's selling for like $180, which is basically $25 under the retail price. And that's not just in one size, that's in like every single size. So if you want a pair of these, don't buy them in store, buy them online somewhere because they're gonna be cheaper. Of course, you do have to factor in fees and shipping, and you're gonna have to wait to get them. So sure, maybe if you want them same day, you probably should go to your local sneaker store, but if you want them for a couple bucks cheaper, online's a good way to go. And I wouldn't be totally surprised if the price keeps dropping on these guys. So maybe if you want a pair of these, hold out a bit and grab them in a couple weeks to a couple months, and the price could be even lower. That said though, you don't often see Air Jordan 3s like under $150. So if it does drop, I don't think it's gonna drop that much more. But hey, still a solid release for a great price. Number 9, the Air Jordan 3 Rare Air. This is a surprisingly solid pair of Air Jordan 3s. I mean, the shoe kind of looks like a black cement with some details that actually make it in some ways even cleaner. Now sure, I'd always pick a black cement over these, but still, there's some accents that I really like the backwards Nike Air branding on the heel. That's so cool. The Rare Air theme is apparently inspired by mistakes and samples that just didn't come out exactly right, and so every pair of Rare Air sneakers that are dropping this year features some sort of accidental detail. In the case of this shoe, it's a backwards Nike Air logo. With the Air Jordan 1s, it's like a double Nike Air wings logo. There's different things on each shoe that kind of make it special and different. Now, each one of the Rare Air sneakers feature the same sort of color language, or I guess color style. You've got black, you've got blue, you've got red, you've got cream. Same thing on the Air Jordan 4s, and pretty similar on the Air Jordan 1s. In this case, you've got a black leather upper with blue hits on the midsole and cream accents on the heel tab. Like I said, it's almost a black cement 3, which is crazy because black cement 3s are also going for under retail, which is, again, wild to me. But like we just talked about with the Pure Money 3s, even though this shoe dropped very recently, the resale price is incredibly low. In fact, this shoe, in my size, a size 9, is currently reselling for $158 on StockX. In fact, going through the other sizes, almost every other size is like $168, $170. I think it's a super clean release, and for that price, if you're looking for an everyday sneaker, great way to go. Number 8, the New Balance 2002R Rain Cloud. So this shoe dropped a few years ago, but just restocked again this year. And what's wild is that this shoe used to resell for like $600, almost $1,000 at one point. In fact, I bought my pair, the pair that I had for years, for like $650. 150 bucks, which is insane. Now the retail price of this shoe is $150, but right now after this most recent restock, you can grab pairs for like $140, which is wild. Actually, in a size 8.5, you can grab a pair for $127. This colorway is interesting because although it was incredibly hyped up, it wasn't a collaboration. Instead, it was just kind of a special edition variant of the 2002R. The upper of the shoe came with these jagged panels and this really nice suede that still feels great to this day. And the colorway was kind of your standard New Balance Castle Rock gray. You had light gray panels and darker gray panels and a cream midsole, and it was pretty simple. But it was still incredibly hyped up because it first released during the height of New Balance popularity, and the fact that New Balances were impossible to get made this very clean looking shoe even more popular. Even though the hype for this shoe is not what it once was, I still think it's a fire colorway, it's incredibly comfortable, and it's definitely worth picking up for retail or below. Number 7, the Air Jordan 3 Soul 2.0. This shoe was the follow-up to the wildly popular Air Jordan 3 Soul, a shoe that first released in incredibly limited quantities and then restocked as a women's only size, but even that was in incredibly limited quantities, and became one of the most sought after pairs of Air Jordan sneakers of the last decade. Like the original, this shoe is inspired by Seoul, Korea, specifically the 1988 Seoul Olympics. So because of that, the shoe comes in the colorway of the Korean flag with a white leather upper and blue and red hits, and it actually does have a Korean flag on the tongue. Not only that, some of the materials used on the shoe are inspired by traditional Korean garments, which I think is really cool, specifically around the ankle area of the shoe. It's like the blue sort of textile material, and it's an incredibly fire shoe. Now the biggest visual difference between this shoe and the original is that the midsole of this shoe is this very dark tan color. The original was a primarily white shoe, which I think people honestly do kind of prefer. The tannish midsole is a little too much in my opinion. But either way, when this shoe released a couple months ago, it sold out immediately and was reselling for a decent amount of money over retail. The retail price for the Soul 2.0s was 200 bucks. They were very limited and difficult to get. The packaging was also dope, by the way. I think it was like a sky on the top of the box, and then you had like this Korean print on the paper, and it wrapped up in this bow. It's super cool. But it was reselling for I think like 300, 350, possibly 400 in certain sizes. But now, a few months later, while yes, it's not going for under retail, it's going for like 230, 240. And actually, in some of the more common sizes, like a size 10, you can grab a pair for 227. So you can basically grab this very limited and very special shoe for like 20 bucks over retail. Now, to be honest, I have no idea how many pairs they actually released of this shoe. It's possible that it wasn't as limited as people thought. That being said, it wasn't that easy to grab, so it must still be somewhat limited. I think there's a chance that eventually, when Air Jordan 3s become popular again, that this shoe might skyrocket in price just because it was so limited, and there's a lot of people out there who want to celebrate their Korean heritage with a pair of shoes that are inspired by Korea and the Seoul Olympics in 1988. So I think there's a lot of potential there, but right now, if you want a pair of these, I think this is the time to grab them, because $240 for a size 9, which is my size, is a pretty amazing price. I mean, even just the materials used on this shoe are dope. Like the different kinds of materials that they're using, the colors, the embroidery on the tongue, everything about this shoe feels more premium than a standard pair of 3s. Definitely a pickup in my opinion, especially for that price if you couldn't grab a pair for retail. Number 6, the Air Jordan 1 UNC Reimagined. This shoe was one of the most anticipated sneaker releases of the year, and then when it dropped, it kind of flopped. Which is crazy because the last time this shoe dropped in 2015, it sold out immediately, and that pair has been reselling for like $500 for the last 10 years. This time around though, Jordan branded decided to change things up a little bit because it was a reimagined version of the shoe. They made it almost identical to the lost and found Air Jordan 1s, except in a different colorway. However, even though the materials were almost exactly the same between the two shoes, and even the boxes were just inverse colors from one another, and you could switch the box lids and make them the same color, the shoe felt different. And the main reason for that was that the midsole of the UNC Reimagines was very tan. On the lost and founds, it was aged, but it still felt like it still fit in the same family as the regular Chicago one. So UNC ones, that midsole was just too dark to a point where it didn't feel like the UNCs. Not only that, when the UNC Reimagines came out, it had been 10 years since we last got a pair of UNCs, whereas Chicago's we get like every 2 or 3 years in some variation. So it felt like rather than getting a true retro, we got some sort of like, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it just didn't feel like what we should have gotten. So that paired with the fact that Air Jordan 1s are just not hot right now meant that this shoe ended up sitting on store shelves. And even though I didn't like the UNC Reimagines as much as the standard UNCs, I still like the shoe. I'd still buy the shoe. In fact, I did buy the shoe. In fact, I doubled up on the shoe. Maybe a mistake because I bought them both for resale. Now, while it's become increasingly difficult to find UNC Reimagines in stores, you can find pairs of these on the resale market for like 125 bucks, which is crazy for a $180 shoe. Sure, the larger sizes are closer to like 140, which is 15 bucks more than 125, but even for 140, you're saving 40 bucks off of the original $180 retail price. That's worth it. I understand that this is not the UNC retro that we wanted, but for 140 bucks at the highest point, I think it's worth picking up. Oh, also, this is another shoe that you can grab a pair of socks to match perfectly with, so if you want to grab some Apothecary sneaker socks, check them out. somewhere. Probably in the description below, I'm not totally sure where. Actually, speaking of that, if you've never bought anything from Apothecary before, you can use my discount code Seth and get $5 off. So that's kind of cool. $15 pair is now a $10 pair, so there you go. Number 5, the Air Jordan 11 Low Bred. This is actually the first true Air Jordan 11 Low Bred colorway to ever release. We got a pair in like 2015 or 2014 that was almost an Air Jordan 11 Low Bred, except it had a red sock liner, so it wasn't a true 11 Low Bred. This is the first one we've ever gotten. And as you'd expect, it's fire. The Bred 11s are my favorite colorway of the 11s of all time, so having a low top version is dope. Now what's crazy is that I've had my pair sitting in a box for months and I haven't broken it out yet, which is why, that's not true. I broke it out once for a photo shoot for a pair of socks that match perfectly with this. We have a lot of socks that match these shoes, so check them out. Again, somewhere on the screen or in the description below. But that being said, I broke it out once for a photo shoot and then haven't broken it out since. Just because I'm not wearing this pair as much as I should doesn't mean that you shouldn't grab this pair for yourself. It retailed for $190 and you can grab it right now on StockX in multiple sizes for around $170. And this is one of those pairs that like isn't sitting in stores. I mean, there are probably stragglers in certain sizes somewhere randomly in your city, but realistically it's not easy to find. So the fact that these are online for under retail right now, it's a very easy pickup. It's also a great summer shoe. Like the Air Jordan 11 Low is one of those shoes that are so easy to rock with a pair of shorts or with a pair of long pants when you don't want to have that whole mid top or high top cut. It's super clean, super wearable, and the black and red colorway cannot be beat. Actually, I'd love to know what your favorite Air Jordan 11 colorway is. Is it the Concords? I bet it is. Or the Space Champs. I don't know. Let me know in the comment section down below. Number 4, the Ma Maniére Air Jordan 3 Diffused Blue. Like the all black Ma Maniére Air Jordan 3 that released earlier this year, or I guess at the end of last year, I was expecting this shoe to be a hit, but neither were. I just assumed because the most popular Ma Maniére of all time was the original Air Jordan 3s that these two would also be successes, and while this diffused blue colorway definitely was more popular than the black colorway, and I think significantly more limited, it's still currently selling for under retail, which is wild. I think it's an incredibly fire pair of shoes. First of all, you've got a white leather upper, you've got this dark gray suede on the toe and on the heel instead of the elephant print, which I think is a nice touch, and you've got this really nice blue hit on the midsole. It kind of has like a Fragment vibe to it. I know it has no relationship to Fragment at all, but it looks kind of like a Fragment pair of 3s, except what the Fragment 3s should have been instead of what they actually were. Not only that, Ma Maniére's attention to detail, like every thought that goes into the shoe, and also their quality is kind of unmatched. So this shoe is just a really nice, high quality pair of Air Jordan 3s. And the colorway, super clean, super wearable. But hey, for whatever reason, the resale price isn't that high. It did sell out, but no one seems to be grabbing it on the resale market. This shoe originally dropped for $225, but right now you can grab pairs in a size 9 for $193 on StockX and around $200 in pretty much every other size. Sure, there are some outliers. People love to say, oh, my size isn't $200. Yes, I get that. Prices change all the time, but generally, most sizes are around $200. I'm sorry if you're like a size 14 and your pair is $250. Most sizes aren't $250. Actually, I didn't check size 14. Size 14 is actually $195, so don't even give me that. No, I know. A lot of times I'll say a shoe is under retail and then like one size or a couple sizes will be over retail. I get it. Totally understand. In this case, like a size 15 is $291 and a size 13.5, did they even make it 13.5? That's $368. So I get it. Like I completely understand. But for most sizes, yeah, it's under retail. Either way, it's a fire pair of sneakers. If you're looking for a dope pair of Air Jordan 3s, this might be my favorite pair on today's list actually. Number 3, the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Navy. I know a lot of you guys are already gonna be giving me crap about this one, but for some sizes, it is currently under retail. A size 9, $216. Retail, $225. But yes, a lot of the sizes are more than that. That being said, even if your size is over retail, it's still an incredible deal. Because remember earlier this year, pairs were going for like $450 to $500 for what is genuinely one of the best sneaker releases of the entire year. The most expensive sizes, excluding like the super rare and super limited sizes, like a 13, 14, 15, they're going for $300, which yes, is more than retail, but for a pair like this, those sizes tend to be a bit more expensive than that. So even then, you're $75 over retail, which is a lot, but for like the middle sizes, like say the size 8 through like the size 11s, you're hovering around retail or below. All right, I know I'm harping on the price, but genuinely the shoe is a fire sneaker, whether you pay for it like I did, well over retail. I bought my pair for $550 to be fair. It was for an early review, but still that was not a good price. Or if you buy it for below retail, it's an incredible pair of shoes. First of all, the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 is a specially designed pair of Air Jordan 4s for skateboarding. Is it actually a good skateboarding shoe? Not really, but the idea is there and the concept is there. I also think it's one of the more comfortable pairs of Air Jordan 4s out there. Interestingly enough, they actually removed the air unit from the forefoot of the shoe to give you more board feel, but for some reason it makes it a little bit softer underfoot. I guess because air units are kind of stiff and the foam maybe used in the midsole is softer, I'm not sure. But hey, either way, there's some really cool skateboarding focused details like the material used on the toe and the rubber accents instead of the TPU accents. It's a very cool sneaker, and the colorway, the white and the blue with the Nike SB branding on the heel, crazy. I mean, the pine greens that released in 2023 were literally the sneaker of the year. This time around, it's basically just a different colorway of the same shoe, and I think it's just as good as the originals. In fact, I wear it more than the originals. This shoe for me is up there with like the Brick by Bricks and the white cements. I realize a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? But genuinely, this shoe is fire, and it's definitely worth checking out, especially for this price. Even if you can't grab it for under retail, 75 bucks over retail, still absolutely worth it. And seriously, I cannot believe this shoe has dropped to this price. It's kind of like the Union LA Air Jordan 1s, which I didn't put on this list, although I probably should have. They're like $275, and they dropped for I think 200 bucks originally, so another amazing deal. Like, there are so many good sneakers that people were just obsessed with when they first dropped, but the prices have dropped so low that it's like, now's the time to buy. So seriously, check out the Nike SB Air Jordan 4 Navies. I think they're one of the best sneaker releases of the entire year, and if you've been waiting to buy a pair, you never know what the price is going to do in a couple months to a couple years. I'd say now is the time to grab them. Seriously, they're absolutely worth it. You will not regret it. Number 2, the Air Jordan 5 Grape. I didn't expect this shoe to be here. I really didn't. With the metallic reimagined 5s going for as much as they did, and this being an OG colorway, I thought this shoe was gonna be like crazy expensive. But no, currently it's selling for below retail on StockX. It retailed for $210. You can grab a lot of sizes for like $197. And sure, pairs are still probably sitting in your local Foot Locker. Check there as well, especially because after fees and shipping, it's gonna be around a similar price with tax and things like that. So if you want a pair right now, yeah, check your local stores. But if you can't find your size, or if you don't have a local store, grab them on StockX. The prices are great. I don't think they're sitting on like Nike's website. In fact, I'm almost certain they're not. I'm pretty sure they sold out day of release. So it's a pair that sold out online, but is still somewhat available in store, kind of. Regardless, this shoe is absolutely fire. It's an OG pair of Air Jordan 5s. It comes with the white leather upper, which is pretty soft and pretty decent for a pair of 5s. It also features that beautiful purple and teal color blocking, which was so different for the time. It was definitely 90s inspired and not like Bulls inspired, obviously. It was actually like one of the first times they made a lifestyle focused pair of Air Jordan sneakers when it released. Like, a lot of the other colorways did release colors that were not Bulls colors, but this one was very obviously made to be worn casually and on court, which is cool. And the Air Jordan 5 is a dope silhouette. It's also one of the most popular sneakers of the year, surprisingly enough. Like, not the 4s, not the 1s, not the 3s, the 5s. I mean, the 4s are very popular still, but the 5s, I think, might be even more popular. I mean, look at the reimagined 5s. I keep bringing those up, but seriously, like, the way that those have exploded in price, we knew the Nigel Sylvester 4s were gonna be expensive because that was just a crazy collaboration, but a reimagined pair of 5s, like, going for that much? Crazy. Actually, sort of another honorable mention, not really. I wanna check the resale price of those bad boys really quick. Yeah, size 9, $435. They sold for $210 retail. That's double retail. In an era where most shoes aren't reselling. Like, that's crazy. There's literally only one size selling for under 400 bucks, and that's a size 7, and it's $399. So it's basically 400 bucks. But hey, if you can't grab the metallic 5s, grab the Grape 5s. You'll be just as happy, I think. Finally, coming in at number 1, we've got probably the most recent release on the entire list, and that's the Levi's Air Max 95 OG. Surprisingly, this is one of the most hyped up collaborations of the entire year, and the Air Max 95 has also become one of the most sought after silhouettes of the entire year because they released like the OG or Big Bubble version of the shoe with the seam, and this is actually that with the Levi's collaboration, so double the hype. Now, to be fair, most sizes of this shoe are not going for under retail, but they're going for around retail, and there are some stragglers which are like $199. In case you were wondering, the retail price of this shoe is $205, so that's like $6 under retail for one of the more hyped up collabs of the year. Now, I'm specifically referencing the light Orwood brown colorway because the black colorway and the blue colorway, yes, are going for over retail, but for this colorway, seemingly the least popular of the three, even though it's still a great looking pair of shoes, I mean, the prices are great. Now, as you would expect, you're getting an Air Max 95 with that bigger bubble, which looks amazing, but you're also getting Levi's denim, I guess is what it is, on the upper of the shoe, and of course that little red Levi's tag on the, I guess it's the medial side, right? The inside of the shoe, which really adds that little pop of color. Plus, you're getting a gum outsole, and I love gum outsoles, especially when paired with like a monochromatic shoe like this. In my opinion, this shoe is like the perfect candidate to do like a RIT dye situation. I might actually do that. In fact, I might even just buy a pair right now. What are they going for in my size? Let's see. Size 8.5 is $199. Size 9 is $229. Should I just buy an 8.5? Because I can probably fit an 8.5. I'm probably gonna buy this shoe. Of course, the most expensive colorway is the blue colorway, which goes for around 430 bucks, and the black colorway is going for like 250-ish or 240-ish. So yes, the white colorway is the least sought after, but still, I think it's an incredible shoe. I like it better than the black colorway, and if you've been looking for a pair of Air Max 95s with that big bubble, this is the way to go. I mean, the neon 95s are going for like $350 right now at minimum. So if you're looking for that big bubble, I think it's a dope look, and I think this is a great way to go. And of course, if you want to grab this shoe or any of the other shoes that I've talked about in today's video, I've linked them all through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen, so make sure to check them out. And also, let me know in the comment section down below which one of these releases you're most hyped about. Do you have some of these? Are you gonna buy some of these? Let me know all those thoughts in the comment section down below. But as always, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you all in the next one.